Is Nigel Farage a Russian shill?
EU expansion, NATO expansion, has poked the Russian bear with a stick.
You may be seeing the news recently that former Reform Wales leader Nathan Gill was arrested for accepting Russian bribes.
Bishop turned politician, Gill was a key member of Nigel Farage's UKIP and Brexit parties. But an investigation by counter-terrorism police found Gill was also busy taking bribes from this man, Oleg Voloshyn, a pro-Russian politician in Ukraine.
Naturally, this has led to more than a few fingers being pointed at Nigel Farage, the Reform UK leader, and lover of exclusively German migrants.
Boring! Boring! Boring!
Considering Reform UK is the most sympathetic party to Russia in the UK, it seems then fair to ask the simple question: is Nigel Farage a Putin rent boy? The main evidence people are pointing to suggest that Farage is some sort of vodka swilling Kremlin shill is his relationship to confirmed Putin glazer Nathan Gill.
What he did was treasonous, it was horrific, it was awful. He's now been dealt with by the authorities, he deserves the sentence that he's got. But as you've just said, this is a guy which, as far as we're concerned, is ancient history. I've never met him.
Gill has a long association with Nigel, going back to the days of UKIP in 2013 when he first joined the party.
Hi, I'm Nathan Gill, the leader of UKIP in Wales. We've just fought the most successful domestic election in UKIP's history here in Wales, and we couldn't have done it without each of you, the members, working so extremely hard.
He became influential enough to be put forward by Farage and UKIP as a member for European Parliament, which shows he was pretty important at the time, right?
Putin is not the biggest threat to our civilization. The biggest threat is Muslim extremists. This is for political reasons, and poking the Russian bear is very dangerous.
He began to work closely with Farage at this point, even having the office right next to him in Brussels. It's during this time, 8 times no less, that Nathan Gill accepted bribes from Oleg Voloshyn, a pro-Russian Ukrainian journalist and politician. After the collapse of UKIP, Gill followed his friend Nigel to the Reform UK party, where he was appointed head of Reform UK Wales.
You can never, ever guarantee 100% that everyone you meet in your life, everyone you shake hands with at a pub, is a good person. You can't do that.
Voloshyn paid Nathan Gill and a bunch of other MEPs to essentially just spit polish Putin's shaft in Parliament to people.
They found WhatsApp messages like this one, talking about gifts and postcards, code for cash. Voloshyn tells Gill he's received all promised Christmas gifts and requested 5 more postcards for his kind help next week during the debate. He says he'll supply him with lines to take, and Gill replies, excellent.
Now, this guy Voloshyn actually did leave during the Ukrainian war to, Russia, which shows that his connections must be pretty strong, right? He works there as a TV journalist or whatever. Where does Nigel Farage fit into this, though?
Now, she is on OnlyFans and therefore makes money.
Now, Farage claims to have had very little to do with Nathan Gill, which is kind of weird because he appointed him as the head of the Welsh party. He had his office next to his in Brussels. He has numerous pictures taken with the guy. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, right?
Every single political party has a bad apple. In fact, many families finish up with a bad apple. These things happen. It's not to downplay the severity of it, but it's historic.
What's weird is that we do have a confirmed public meeting between Farage and Voloshyn's wife, Nadia Sass, a journalist who was following him during his time as an MEP.
You all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you?
Voloshyn and Sass reached out to a bunch of right-wing MEPs during their time, so Nathan Gill isn't even the only one that was caught doing this shit.
He says, I've received all promised Xmas gifts. Do you know what the Xmas gifts were, or the Christmas gifts are?
No comment.
Now, one thing Nigel does claim that he told Nathan Gill was that he shouldn't go to Ukraine or Moldova, which actually is a pretty clever thing to say, but also surely that is him acknowledging that these people want to bribe you, they want to give you money. I mean, they seem like the comments of someone who's pretty acutely aware of what's going on here.
Maybe this will refresh your memory.
I don't know, it's still kind of hazy.
How about this?
Yeah, I remember him. I used to see him around. Why do you want to know?
Maybe he was approached, or maybe not. Can't say that for sure because that information is not publicly available. But he definitely knew what was going on at the very least.
Why don't you order an investigation, given what happened with Nathan Gill last week?
Well, the Putin stuff's nonsense. Just because I said in 2013 that I admired him as a political operator but didn't like him as a human being, before the Ukrainian invasion, I'm a Putin supporter. By the way, the Queen met Putin after I'd said that. Whether she was a Putin sympathiser, perhaps you better ask the Prime Minister.
Now, big brain viewers might be watching this thinking, why don't you just, like, kick him out or just push him quietly to the side if you know that this sort of thing is going on, right? Farage hasn't really given much reason to sort of why he promoted this guy to the head of the party, why he was still in the party even after he issued these warnings.
Nathan Gill, this is a man who was found guilty on bribery with the Russian state. Now, Zia said that Nigel Farage and Reform did not know who this man was. But Nigel Farage, including the day after Brexit happened, was pictured with 4 men behind him. One of them being former MEP for Reform, Nathan Gill. The man that Zia says no one knows who he was. So were you lying, or was Nigel Farage lying?
Now, maybe he just really did not know. That is a possibility. I don't believe that, but it is a possibility. We don't have any conclusive proof in that front. I think one of the issues is that this isn't the first time Farage has been caught knob polishing for the Kremlin. Prolific Russia Today guest Nigel Farage isn't really a stranger to these accusations. He's had quite a few over the years.
To the people of UK who think this Putin-loving free speech imposter and Trump sycophant will protect freedom in your country, come on over to America and see what Trump and MAGA are doing to destroy our freedom.
Like when he was implicated in Russian collusion claims between Donald Trump and the Kremlin. He was marked by the FBI as a person of interest in that case.
Look, what you've got here is the liberal establishment, both in politics and the media, simply can't accept the fact that Trump won last November. They're trying to find a reason why, and they say, we've got it. It's all because of Russian interference.
Oh yeah, okay, but that's just like one thing, right? Nigel met with Alexander Yakovenko, who was Russia's ambassador to the UK in 2013, and he made numerous pro-Putin statements since this time. Yeah, okay, but that doesn't mean that he's like... As well as this, some Reform UK donors own fairly significant Russian assets, which explains the praise for Putin quite consistently.
And the European Union was giving this man a reason to his Russian people to say they're coming for us again and to go to war.
But you were echoing him.
I was... Sorry?
You were echoing him. That's what Putin says.
No.
But that's just donors, though. What about many Reform UK candidates have made explicitly pro-Putin statements, explicitly supported the Russian position on Ukraine and elsewhere in the world? Do these things mean that Nigel Farage is on Russia's payroll?
My mummy says you hate foreigners.
No, little girl. No.
Right.
You're not supposed to say that. That's very naughty.
No, not explicitly. But that doesn't mean that they're not Russian assets and that Nigel Farage isn't a Russian asset. I think to me it's pretty clear that Nigel Farage is a Russian asset.
Is
he a Russian asset?
She's already driven a farmer. She's already driven a farmer to suicide because of the increase. Because of the increase.
Is he a
you
Russian
obviously know
asset?
the answer to that question, and I take exception. I'm sorry. I take exception to you asking me that question. Are you seriously asking me the question if Nigel Farage is a Russian asset?
Yeah,
that is your serious question as a host of an LBC show.
Yeah, I have.
Let me categorically say that not only is that not true, it is deeply offensive again to the millions of British people who support Reform and support Nigel Farage. And I'm sorry, you know.
But the interesting question is whether he does it knowingly and takes money for it, or whether he's just simping that way because that's what he believes, right?
We've provoked this war. It's, of course it's his fault. He's used what we've done
we
as an
provoked
excuse.
the invasion of Ukraine.
Yes, and very interestingly, once again, 10 years ago when I predicted this, by the way, I'm the only person in British politics that predicted what would happen.
Given how many times this guy's name pops up around all these Russian connections, how much of his party members are accused of this sort of thing, and I mean, one of the major figures was arrested for bribery. To be honest, maybe Farage should just ask them for money. Like, he's doing it anyway, he may as well get paid for it. Instead, he continues to sit in this sort of grey area between giving pro-Russian statements, but also distancing himself from anyone who's caught, giving pro-Russian statements for money. Are Nigel and Reform Russian assets? Tell me in the comments what you think, like and subscribe. Even if you don't like it, like and subscribe anyway, who gives a fuck?